So it is not a matter of whether you'll face a crisis or not. It is basically a matter of if this crisis come, because it will come. Even as Christians, we are told in the Bible, in this world you'll have many troubles. It's a guarantee. Yeah. So it's an issue of when these troubles come, will you fight them? Will you win them? Or will they fight you and will they win you? So here I was, back from the hospital, but now I had a new life to live with crutches. The only thing I could do basically is eat, sleep, and watch TV. My busy schedule was reduced to only those three things. And I was still just figuring out what is happening. How did I get here? And in the midst of all this, that is when the first case of COVID was announced in our country. Everything like went off and everybody was in a state of panic. People didn't know what to do, people didn't know what to expect. Businesses were being shut down. My business was also affected because I sell school uniforms. So of course, even the conversation that I was still having over the phone, coordinating one or two things from the company, came to a standstill. So before I knew it, my children were back from school and they joined my routine, my simple routine: eat, sleep, watch TV. And just as you may predict, what happened as a result of that? Some few weeks ago, I had a busy schedule of even working out, but now this was all I could do. What happened? I gained weight so fast. It's so easy to gain weight than to lose it. I gained weight so fast. Before I knew it, my clothes couldn't fit me. And I didn't know what to do because the only way I knew of bringing my weight down was through workouts. But now here I was on crutches. I couldn't work out. This led to a lot of emotional imbalance. I think any small thing will just annoy me and make me react in a way that was not pleasant because I wasn't used to this and I didn't know how to cope with it. My health, of course, it was not on such a good note because I was just imagining what would happen if I add weight, and here I was doing nothing about it. So I called my sister. In one of the conversation, I asked her, I told her, I'm well, yeah, but I'm afraid I'm adding a lot of weight. And I love what my sister told me. My sister told me, Debbie, with your discipline, if you join the group of the people who are doing intermittent fasting, I'm sure you'll make good progress. I hadn't heard of intermittent fasting. I was like, intermittent what? So, of course, I went online, I Googled, I saw, I got a group on Facebook. I joined, they gave me their timetable, they added me to a WhatsApp group, and at least I was hopeful because I knew I was doing something towards it. So, as I was doing this intermittent fasting, I thought, like, for how long will this COVID be there? And what if it takes a year, two, or even more? What will happen to my other team? So I sat down and I thought, like, what's the best way forward? So the first thing that I did is that I came up with a new schedule for my family. And of course, me included, yeah. We stopped this schedule of sleeping because actually initially somebody will wake up early because they are going to work or they are going to school or they have an assignment or maybe you have a task at hand. But this was more of a free space. Yeah. So the first thing I did, we created a schedule whereby we incorporated what we were doing at every particular time of the day. The other thing that we did is, other than me doing my intermittent fasting, we really checked out what we were eating. We followed the health advice that was given. I don't know what was happening in your country, but in our country, people are taking ginger, garlic, lemon. It was like a drink. We will literally drink it almost in an hourly basis. We will just drink it just in case we caught the virus in any place. Yeah. And we also checked what we were eating. We reduced junk. We went back to basic food whereby we could boost our immune system. And we drank the required amount of water. I think sometimes fear is a good thing. It makes you do the things that you knew were supposed to be done, but maybe you are not doing them. Another thing we incorporated into our health line is that we took some time just to relax in the sun. It's amazing, yeah, what can come out as a result of crisis. And we really enjoy those moments. We will just call everybody and we will insist it's time for sitting in the sun. Whether you like it or not, come and sit and have some sun, yeah. The health guys were saying like you should have some minutes on the sun every day, and the weather was good in our country. Yeah, so we really adhered to that, and it was also a nice time of just bonding, and we enjoyed the small little things that our normal busy schedule will not allow us to enjoy, like having some stories under the sun. Yeah. So, other than that, what we did, and maybe this is the above all that we did, is that we learned to trust in God more. We learned to pray. We learned to just read the scriptures. And we learned that God was our protector. Me and my children, we wouldn't go anywhere during those times because I told you my business was one of the businesses that were directly affected. But my husband, since he works with the emergency team, he had to report to work every day. So every evening he will come back home, and we didn't know where he has been, if maybe he was in contact with anybody who was affected. Of course, we did the normal routine things that they were saying, like, I don't know, wash your clothes, change your clothes, all those things we did them, yeah. But at the back of our mind, we knew that it was only God who could protect us. We will imagine these big angels at our gate, on top of our house, watching over us, ensuring that we are safe. And whenever the fear came in, we will just go back to this thought and repeat some good psalms from the Bible, and it gave us peace. Peace. Despite everything that was happening, we had peace. Another thing that we picked up during this time is that we stopped watching news. This is some of the habits that have gone along with even past COVID. I just stopped watching news because actually the news was so much discouraging. At some point, somebody was saying that a lot of body bags had been imported to our country, and some people were saying that at some point people will will be so sick that the hospitals will not be able to hold us. We'll go to a stadium, and that is where people will be taken care of, not necessarily being taken care of, but just left there to die. The stories were scary. Every day they will give the death toll number, explaining how the number had gone up. With that news coming in throughout, there's no way you will even watch your health. You will even care about basking in the sun. It's like the news just made us to wait for our death. Yeah. So we stopped watching news. Of course, some news will just sneak in through our phones, through our WhatsApp. Some will just sneak in. But whenever any of those came in, we will just handle it with prayer and just putting everything to God, because we believe that He was the one who was watching over us. Another habit that we picked up during this time is we had a lot of time in our hands. The children were not going to school. I was not going to work. We had Wi-Fi in our house. So the thing that we did was we read books with my children. I have a habit of reading books, but this time round I had some nice time of incorporating my children into the books. Yeah, we read a book like seven highly influential habits for teenagers, and 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 the book was so inspiring for the children. We read a book like Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill, and together with the children we could see the possible traps that they may have in their lives. We read a lot of books, and the goodness is that with these books they are animated cartoon, and very nice way in which they are said, whereby you don't have to go through the 300-page book with your 12-year-old son. You can just maybe summarize it and then go to a YouTube video and watch it. So during this time, we learned some amazing skills, some skills that we still use up to date, literally up to date. And honestly, in this era, if somebody don't want to learn something, it is just as a result of their laziness. The resources are all there. So we learned a lot from the books. And actually, I think whatever we learned from the books during this time can even be more helpful than the syllabus they are doing in their respective schools. So, friends, what are we picking out from all this? Yeah, this is what I picked in all this. My thinking is that, and this is the truth, yeah, it is not a matter of whether you'll face similar crisis. It might have nothing to do with you being on crutches, or maybe not even COVID directly, because there were some people who were not directly affected by COVID in any way. Yes, there are people who are okay, their life was going on as usual. So it is not a matter of whether you'll face a crisis or not. It is basically a matter of if this crisis come, because it will come. Even as Christians, we are told in the Bible, in this world you'll have many troubles. It's a guarantee. Yeah. So it's an issue of when these troubles come, will you fight them? Will you win them? Or will they fight you? And will they win you? Going back to our COVID story, yeah, there are people who made billions, if not trillions, during this same crisis of COVID. A lot of people. There are people who made it, but there are people who couldn't even wait to get into contact with COVID. There are people who committed suicide because, according to them, they were like, this is getting to us, we are done. I'd rather kill myself before it gets to me. So the issue is when you face crisis, be it in your health, be it in your marriage, be it at your workplace, be it maybe a global crisis like COVID was a global crisis, the point is, how will you evolve? And remember, evolving is not only on the positive. You can decide to do nothing. You can decide to surrender, and you can evolve towards the negative side. So, friends, I hope this one encourages somebody so that whenever you face a situation, remember, like, you are the placebo. You are the one, or how you react is what will determine whether you'll triumph over it or it will bring you down. Friends, I hope you got some value in this video. Kindly don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to know how we got to the crutches in the first place, you can just check in the description below. I'll put a link for the other video so that you see how did I get to the hospital in the first place. But anyway, share it with a friend who might be struggling with something. And let's just remind each other that we must fight whatever comes our way for us to evolve and be better people. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm so grateful you took some time to listen to this up to the end. Thank you.